Hey everyone, it's about to hit 4 p.m. on Saturday, the 5th of November 2022. I don't actually know what time I got home, truthfully. So I arrived at the tennis roughly 2 hours later than I was meant to be there. I had definitely misunderstood. I'm going to try to be not as loud as possible, but I'm also going to simultaneously roll a few joints while I talk to you all. Poor boss was just getting so what is happening? I don't know. I sent a Graham in a message I don't feel like him anymore, all over the place being normal. But boss was kind of acting like I am. Anyway, we did end up going there. So I quickly opened my uni stuff up, because as we're aware, and if you're new to my channel, hello, I'm Liv. I live in Melbourne, Australia, and I'm legally prescribed cannabis. And on days like today, truthfully, when I know I'm not driving anywhere, I take it with me. And I don't think that's where I was going with that story, but I definitely smoked my vape on the walk home. Anyway, I got there, and the person who I was originally meant to be seeing, the person that I have hit with, had left based on whatever roughly time I got there, and what he's just said. I missed him by a lot. Yeah, a lot. Maybe just under an hour, whatever it was. All's well and good. I have learned something new and awesome about my dog, which, in hindsight, as with everything else, makes complete sense. So, as we know, following along with Liv and Boss and Sebastian, but hopefully, fingers crossed on a side note, I've sent a follow-up message with the Wildlife Park saying any idea what's happening and when I might be able to bring him, because he's doing what he does to make me feel guilty. Anyway, so I'm trying to make my life have more balance, alright? Because I have spent so many years now focused on uni and getting the perfect grades that I've become so lost in regards to what my actual purpose is in life, When I was smoking ice around the clock, I didn't even possibly consider the fact that I would ever go to uni. That was because of many multiple reasons. One being I didn't ever think I'd quit ice just simply because I loved it so much. There's a reason that what am I trying to say? There's a reason. I got thrown off. Message comes through. Maybe I should turn these fucking messages off when I make these. On my I have this app on my phone, and it's a fucking awesome app, by the way. So I'll just do a shout out to Mighty Text, as in M-I. God Almighty. Of course, now I can't fucking remember. Mighty Text, MIGHTIYTEXE. Let's see if I'm losing it. Could be sure. That's what I said. Mighty, MIGHTYTEXT. It's awesome. Mac, Android and Apple and whatever, both compatible. And it just means I can see all my shit on my computer. Anyway, gosh, I'm easily distracted. So I quickly found what I needed to read. So interesting because I have been enrolled in this unit before, and every time I've been enrolled in this unit, I recall the lecturer, the teacher, whatever, saying, you do not need to buy the book because everything will be provided to you, which is interesting because if you Google the actual unit number, it very clearly states that there is a required book, and going to uni and not having the textbook you need doesn't really work well. And because I am that person who will one day have an office that'll be lined with books, I'm old school, what can I say? I think I always will be. Though I must admit there's been bred to me. I'm loving that. The reason I originally came to come on my computer, because I have to at least start trimming this fucking weed, yeah, because I know based on pain levels and how much of it there is, which by the way, if you haven't actually seen it, don't think hundreds of plants, because it's obviously not. It's one plant for me that I fucked up anyway, so it's not even as big as it could be, it's just bigger than the last few I've tried. But I won't be able to do it all in one night. I'm absolutely freaking positive of that, unless, well, I'm basically going to start as soon as I've finished talking to you and rolling some joints. But because I already have shit that needs to be done in my house, like housework-wise, I really don't need to add to it. So I'm sort of like, there's a part of me that really wants to take it into my bedroom and just watch Netflix. And I may end up doing that at some point, but right now, as I've said, like on and off, I think, Graham is a novelist, yeah? Like, that's his passion, that's his purpose in life, you know, writing novels. And I think he's a fucking fantastic author, writer, whatever. A shit friend, because I'm absolutely fucking beyond pissed, not pissed, that's the wrong word, gutted. That doesn't help me either. I'm just, actually, I'm realizing I'm actually fine. At the time, him getting the 5 extra points than me in the same unit we did, yeah, definitely add to the crying, but you know what, it is what it is, right? I think more than anything, this shit's just happening to make sure, like, it helps me fucking finally in the last 3 units that I've got at uni to just let it fucking go. I do not want to be a perfectionist. I don't. I know some people do. Some people think that they can believe that they can control literally everything in their life, and if they can, their life will be great. I'm sorry if you're one of those people, because it's unfortunately a load of bollocks, yeah? Can't really control anything, and except your own reaction, believe you me, I know, because unfortunately with BPD and bipolar and dissociative disorder and very severe suicide ideation and all the fucking rest of them, I spent years trying to figure out how to just control my own fucking reaction to things. Like I said, I personally think I'll be in therapy forever. Not a bad thing. Don't ever think therapy is a bad thing. I personally happen to be a huge advocate for therapy. Obviously, I film my therapy sessions with my psychologist. And I share them with all of you. So, yeah, have noticed one thing though, which is awesome because it's benefiting me multiple ways. My last therapy session, it was in person, and my therapist was fucking around, anyway. But one of the other therapists was like, oh, just go into the room, make yourself comfortable. So this time I was like, I shall do that. And I pulled her chair, because obviously, you know, clinical bullshit. They're quite far away, the therapist and the client, like, chair and couch wise, so I just like pulled it right in, so we were in the very much more closer environment, and I was like, this way at least we'll hear you. It, yeah, it was much better. I know I've at least started watching that therapy session. I get the feeling I may not have watched it all. I don't know. I was trying to catch up on myself, and there's only so much of me that I can watch in a row before even I get bored of myself. So I was just like, yeah, I'm good. We'll come back and finish this another day. This is a lot louder, a lot more annoying than I thought it would be. But the ratio is really off. So since I really don't feel like fixing all that bullshit, because I really just fucking want to have I think this is how I'm going to get off cigarettes completely, right? Completely would be nice if it was the last fucking time, because at day 311, I don't know how many times I've quit smoking this year. Blown. Hey people. Anyway, I have gotten to the point where I am at that, like, I cannot use, like, I prefer the Cardis, you know, for the filter, yeah? But, my hands stopped being able to actually do those a long time ago. And the only time I have those anymore is sort of like, what am I saying? If I buy like the pre-roll papers, yeah? But this is what one of the jars looks like, yeah? That I put the weed in, right? And the other ones are actually my coffee cups, because the jar my coffee comes in is just such a beautiful jar. I'm like, I'm not buying any more of these. I'm just going to start keeping all of the coffee jars, which is what I've done. And I've got heaps now, so that's awesome. And my scales are working again because Andrew got the battery out. I apparently could have done it myself if I had just kept going, but by the time I'd done everything that night, I was just like, fuck you, battery. I'm coming back to you another day. And then I didn't have to, because Andrew did it for me. So thank you. But yeah, I went out today. I walked Boss. I took like his bowl thing, you know, like, so I filled up I've got one of those water bottles that keep things cold for longer, like even in the heat, but it's super old and I really need to replace it because it can't even like stand up because the bottom of it is all like warped and shit, yeah? Serious drying out there. Okay, come on, let's do this, Awesome. What am I saying? Yeah, so I went out, used the fucking headphones and started on the, so it appears so, right. Just let Liv think for 1 second. The study guide says I need to listen to chapter 1 and pages something to something of chapter 2, which I have on the PDF because, as we know, my disability stuff at uni has been changed again to now, like, they now provide me with everything in PDFs, yeah? Of course, since I've been enrolled and dropped before census this particular unit multiple times, I've already bought the book. I've actually got all the books I need until I graduate. So yeah, so I thought, okay, I've got it, it's on my phone, blah blah blah, did that, started listing. I'll tell you what, people, unlike the last trimester where I was able to listen to my textbook like all the time, you know, like walking, boss, vacuuming, gardening, whatever it was, I could listen to the textbook because it was fascinating. Listening to statistics, on the other hand, excuse me, not so fucking much, yeah? So it's definitely going to be one of those units that I have to have it read out to me, like these readings, yeah? I need my computer to read to me while I'm reading it at the same time, so I'm using like different sensory inputs to help retain the information. I do think, based on the fact that I had in all of my philosophy stuff one exam, right, for logical reasoning, and that obviously involved memorizing a bunch of fucking like formulas to be able to work things out that if you didn't know what it was would look like utter gibberish. And I managed to pull that one off really well. I got a higher grade in that one overall, which was 74. Oh, well, then I'm comparing philosophy to fucking psychology, and obviously I got a higher grade in philosophy. But yeah, so I will be doing that. That's cool. But like I've said, I put both the classes in I put this class on the seminars on Monday. I may or may not have a permanent shift on Tuesday, but we'll find out on Tuesday. And yeah, I'm having a lovely day. I did, like I said, make it down there. He was not there, and that was cool. I still stayed to watch. The thing I've learned about my beautiful dog is literally turns out he is in fact the most behaved and calmest once he's been walked. So by the time we got from where we are to there, he was buggered. Like, I'd already had to stop and give him water. And so we went in and I sat as far away as possible to see how Boss was going. And he was good. And then I was like, obviously, I do not know how I must look at. I personally think how I am and how I act majority of the time is relatively normal, but I don't know. So I was talking to Boss, which I was obviously doing out loud because I was talking to my dog, yeah? And I was like, okay, Boss, I was like, you are being good. I'm very proud of you. I was like, we're going to have a little test. I was like, we're going to walk to the next man that we could see. He was under the shade. And I was like, sort of saying, if you're still calm and behaved and don't bark, once I ask this person the question I need, then we'll see how we go. And he was fine. So we went down sort of where you go to the other courts, which is where I played last night. And there was like competitions on the 4 courts that we were sort of sitting in between of, yeah? And I asked, is such and such here? And they were like, no, he's not. And at first, one of them were like, do you need to speak to someone about the club? And I was like, oh, no. I was like, such and such just, mentioned that the comps were on today and to come down for a watch. I said, though, he did say 12:30. I said, so it doesn't really, surprise me that he's not here, given I'm 2 hours late. And we all had a little laugh about that one. Whoops. And I started talking to the woman that was there from like the away people. Her son was playing. She has, I don't know, I haven't fully looked at my stuff on YouTube, and now that I'm thinking about it, I will fucking write it down so I do it, actually, right after I start. Oh, there's filters everywhere, people. Oh no. They're all overboard, mother hella. Anyway, right, I need to figure out this YouTube handle thing, yeah? Right, gone. But you know how I've always said, like, I can't find it when I went to Graham's house and the, you know, her family friend who wanted to bring up my site. Typing in Life's a Story didn't help. Typing in lifesastory.blog didn't help either. Now I said to her, I said, look, if you find it on the first go, I said something's changed, yeah. And so, because as we know, Andrew helped me figure out how to actually find my website online, but the YouTube account I just hadn't figured out yet. But yeah, she just typed it in, and I'm literally the first person that pops up, and I'm like, winning! So that's really exciting. And yeah, she subscribed, so that is cool. So obviously I give the heads up on how I make my videos, but I keep thinking I need to change my about info, and then I go to read it, and every time I read it, I'm like, I already did that. I like how it reads. It sums me up well. But yes, so we stayed for a while. We watched the end of his son's single match, which he won, which was cool. Then there was a doubles, and then they finished, and it was so obviously Boss, I guess, was a little bit confused, yeah, because he was a bit tired. He did need his water. We stopped for a break, but then obviously we stopped for a longer break than I guess he was anticipating, and he obviously, you know, like, got his energy back, I'm guessing, because once this side had finished that we were watching, the woman was like, I'm gonna turn around and watch that side because they're even like further up the level skills wise than these ones. And anyway, I was like, oh yeah, that might be good for me too, because the reason I even came here was to watch the tennis, to learn some tips, you know. And I'd been watching with her sort of while we were talking at the same time. But as one of the men came around from coming out of the court, Boss just started losing his mind again. And I honestly thought it must have been a dog. I was like, okay, someone else has brought a dog, and it's the only reason I can think of that he'd start going crazy when he's been sitting here absolutely fine for, like, you know, half an hour or whatever. But yeah, it was about a particular person. It was really weird. At first I was like, okay, like, Boss doesn't usually do this about a particular person when there's like quite a few people around, so I didn't really fucking know what he was doing or why. But yeah, it was all good because he would not shut up until this guy sort of let him sniff him and gave him a pat and whatnot. And once he'd done all that, Boss was just like surrendering to him. And I was like, I've no idea what the hell is happening, but okay. He's got his energy back and he's getting too boisterous, so that is when we headed home. And that is when I came to sit at my computer to bring up the chapters that I have of Graham's novel, because as he said, even though he's finished uni and he passed all of his things really well, exactly like I told him he would, he's graduating, obviously, yeah, and he's a novelist, so he ain't going back to uni, he's going to college, writing college or something like that. But he's been writing this novel, and I'm absolutely fucking positive. I'm going to say like 99.99% positive, but I'm going to ask him as soon as I upload this, and then I will update it if I'm wrong in the description. But I'm that close to thinking he I'm sure I wrote 4. Started this novel at the age of 11, and he's 30 now, so he's written it a number of times. It's just he's doing the editing and the re-editing and the and he will only give me the chapters as he gets them to the final edited, even though I reckon I've asked him to send me the original original copy a number of times. But yeah, I'm not totally sure how many chapters I've got, but I do want to refresh myself. And as I've said, it actually takes way more effort and time and energy and all that concentration to trim weed. And watching something is just way too difficult. I normally just have friends on when I do it. I used to obviously do it in my living room with when my TV was in there, in here I should say. But again, in the times that I've started, in the different times I've grown, none of them have been as good as this one. So this one has got the bigger amount. If this is Graham messaging me, no. So yeah, I'm gonna just start it in the room it's in, because since I'm not in there very often, it's actually quite cool in there, which is lovely. And I'm going to listen to the chapters read to me while I do it. Though I still really want to do it on my bed, so I don't know, I'll see how I go. Either way, I need to trim some fucking weed. If for no other reason, I want my room back, yeah? If I'm starting to put all these things into place and getting structure and using a timetable, I'm fucking factoring in meditating, because I use a nighttime meditation every night. But I need to be meditating during the day. All the more reasons I need to start getting up when I actually wake up. That will happen though. I have faith. And until then, just gonna keep reminding myself that everything is on my side. Which I've also decided I'm getting tattooed on me. And I've contacted my tattooist and I've been like, hello, please respond. We still have to design the one that goes around here, but in the meantime, I want my all-time will be lifelong, new, awesome motto tattooed on me so I don't ever forget it. Yeah? Everything is on my side. I really want it to be on the other thumb, but he'll have to pull out all the stops to somehow to be able to do that. So I guess we'll suss it with him where it's going to go, but it's going somewhere that I can very much read it very easily, and preferably that other people can read too, yeah, because I don't know. One, I think it'd be weird if you have an issue of someone reading your tattoo, and two, things that I've got quoted on me because they're kind of deep and meaningful in a sense somehow almost, but when they register with people when they register with them, you know what I mean? Like the dude next door, he was silently reading all my tattoos as we talked, and then they ended up coming up in a conversation, and he was like, yeah, I've already read them all. So, anyway, the tattoo was for me, first and foremost. Now I have 4 wonderful joints rolled front of me, which I'm going to go and smoke one outside. And then, actually, no, wait, let me think. I didn't even write the note. YouTube handle, yeah? So I'm going to take my computer with me, and then Graham's chapters. Take my computer outside with me, upload this, figure those out, and then go and spend the afternoon doing that. Yeah, life is good. I'm feeling good. Listening to statistics on headphones, walking my dog, not fun. But all in all, I'm having a great day. And yeah, life is good. Happy Saturday. Bye, everyone.